and privileged to receive and welcome you all here in Abu Dhabi.
Bringing together experts from shipping, ports, banking, finance, law, and a range of other sectors in one room will help ensure that you have the information you need to make the right decisions at the right time.
In 2015, the FTA embarked on the process of a comprehensive development for the maritime sector. This initiative is to respond to the growing role of the maritime transport industry in the UAE and implement the FTA strategic goal, regulate the maritime transport sector and enhance the competitiveness.
Part of our long-term success depends on the strategic partnership we make to ensure sustainable investment flows freely into the UAE, allowing us to respond to these macroeconomic challenges. And it is important for us as industry leaders to continue to come together to innovate and explore new avenues for industry growth.
Information exchange is very important and critical, creating synergy between partners in the supply chain to create more reliability, continuity, and productivity through the port community portal.
Tendency that people, when there is a problem, that they go back to the old style of managing the business. How did they do it in the past? Well, past doesn't mean anything anymore. Future means something different.
UAE is the #1 trade partner in the MENA region. I believe we should capitalize on this achievement and to capitalize on our strong relationship and tie-up with our Chinese partners. And I believe we should focus more in how we can be able to bring more direct investments from our Chinese partners.
On the container side, similarly, much more positive backdrop than we've seen in the past couple of years. The mergers of the large container lines has brought a degree of capacity discipline back to the market. The overall improving GDP environment is also helpful.
You know, the banker and the owner have the same incentive to maximize shareholder value because there's no downside for the banker if the shareholder thrives. No downside at all.
The market really has a big appetite and eager for this business regarding the transport business, about the maritime business, port business as well.
But things are changing. So from warehousing to inventory management to ERP systems, many things are being now digitized or brought up with innovative solutions. So we are not doing business same as we were doing 10 years ago, and we will not do the business same as we will do 10 years later.
You know, apart from running a vessel safely, the most important thing for a ship owner is liquidity, because you will need liquidity at times of distress and problems. So ensuring that our owners either had the liquidity to pay down the ship or put cash on deposit.
Well, firstly, I'd say you had a very educated audience who asked very compelling and very challenging questions. What I take away from today is that all partners in this industry have to work together in order to make the returns work across the supply chain. As soon as that becomes unbalanced, then you have parties suffering, and then that detracts from the ability to finance and invest within certain parts of the industry.
There's been a lot more action over the last 12 months, and as I say, if you look at the container space, we've had 5 major M&A transactions just in the last 12 to 15 months, which is an unprecedented level of activity.
You know, the industry has a habit of always looking for the downside. I think we've heard today from the ports here, you know, that growth is there. There is a future. The bankers are coming back to the market, and in general, there's an upside.
first time in many years, the audience are very positive. Industry is looking at the positive side of this. I think shipping is improving a little bit, so the positive note is quite encouraging.
We need to have diversity of funding sources for our customers, because banks cannot absorb all the downside of these market cycles. So we need to build partnerships with new sources of equity finance. We need to build partnerships with other banks that could spread the risk and burden of financing the important capital investments that must be made into the sector.
Even in this downturn scenario, finance is still available. Yes, the right funds will always be looking for the right credits, but alternatively, for those who are struggling, the small and medium-sized players, those who are struggling to find financing, there is an alternative out there, aptly named alternative finance. And obviously that comes at a slightly higher price, but it is a real viable alternative.